I need a drink after this. So this is going to be my biggest and most challenging project to date. I figured it would make for a good video, me pushing myself and trying some things that I haven't done before. With my wife being in full redecorating mode, we suddenly found ourselves in need of a mini bar in our front room. And since woodworking is my main hobby, she thought it would be a great idea that I build it rather than us find something online to buy. So here I am, back in the shop, breaking down plywood with my track saw that I'm going to use to build the carcass of this cabinet with. I'm cross-cutting the panels to rough dimensions that I'm going to use for the sides and the shelves inside the box. Then I can take the panels over to my table saw and rip them to the final width. This was a lot of plywood to break down, and I noticed that I didn't move my wife's car out of the garage, and I'm glad she doesn't watch my videos because she'd get real mad about me getting dust all over her car. With all the plywood broken down, I can get started dimensioning the red oak that I'm going to use for the top of this cabinet. Here I'm sticking a straight piece of stock to the red oak so I can use it as a straight edge against my L fence to get a straight line rip on this board. With one straight side, I can flip it around and run the other side through the table saw. Now it's time to get these planks flat and parallel. Editing these videos, I really have come to realize how much work this DeWalt planer puts in. With these boards all square and straight, it's time to get them in clamps and start the glue up. I got a clogged nozzle on this bottle, so I had to be a little generous with the glue, pouring it out and then relying on my single digit spreader to get it spread out evenly. Clamping the end so I can try and keep these panels joints as flush as possible. tightening up the clamps and adding some cauls to try and save me time sanding later. With the top glued up and out of clamps, it's time to cut this to length. So I've dabbled in dowels before, but this project, I feel like I really got indoctrinated in them. I've never really loved using pocket screws in my pieces, so I figured I would go all in with dowels on this piece and see how it compared. I'm really happy with the choice I made. Going forward, I think I'll incorporate dowels a lot more in my work. So with the edge holes drilled, you can put dowels in and use the jig to line up where you're going to put the holes in the flat panels. This makes it really easy for setting up offset and alignment. I didn't drill the dowel holes quite deep enough here, so I had to go back on my edge holes and take a little bit more out so I could get a flush fit. Here's more dowel drilling in the center of a piece using the jig. Here I'm using a scrap piece of wood to set the gap that I'm going to use for the inset doors to close into the shelf. Here, I'm going to do my first test fit to see how all the panels are going to come together with the dowels. I labeled corresponding corners on each piece with a letter to represent which corners were going to go together and which side would be up. This will help me later when I'm doing this test fit and the final assembly. I was nervous using this many dowels on this size of a project since I haven't had that much experience with them, but it really did make things go a lot smoother. If you take just a little bit more time to plan things out, it really pays off in the end. After this test fit, I was really happy with how things were looking. All my corners were square, all my gaps were tight. I was ready for the glue up. I was so excited that I forgot to record the glue up and getting this cabinet and clamps. So here I am the next day, getting this carcass out of clamps after the glue up. I've sped up all this footage because this is a very long video. I'm actually going to break this build up into 2 parts because I didn't think anybody would want to sit through me talking for an hour building a cabinet. Leave a comment below and let me know if you like me speeding up these videos or not. If you'd rather me slow it down and go into more detail during the builds, I'll gladly do so. With the carcass glued up and out of clamps, I figured this would be a good place to stop this first video. So I'll pick up next time with the finishing and assembly process. So make sure to keep an eye out for when that video drops. I thought you might enjoy a clip of the shop superintendent dropping in. I'll do my best to get her to make an on-camera appearance on the channel in the future.
Did you see how she was asleep with one leg up? Like, I thought she would fix herself. She's still messing. Oh, I didn't know you were on board.